every time that I get out on Caleb Williams, there's something that I see or something I think about, and he pulls me back in.
Oh.
I get pulled back into Caleb Williams, and I think, guy's a hell of a talent. He's sort of this genetically engineered, not really genetically, but his dad has trained him for a long time to be this franchise NFL quarterback, and he is a great athlete, and maybe he does have what it takes, and maybe I'm being a little bit rough on him. And then he paints his fingernails with F the opponent on it or whatever. And I'm out on him again. I don't. Okay, maybe just boys being boys, kids being kids. Who knows? Not a big deal. Still a great player, but maybe not the best leader. Maybe a guy, who's crying to his mom right there with the cameras to see, doesn't even go in the tunnel to show that. And then I pull back away, but then I pull back in. And all this time, I hear his interviews during the draft process, see his interviews when he gets drafted, think, I kind of like Caleb Williams. I think it's really going to work out for the Bears because he has a great supporting cast. And then, inevitably, something happens, and I pull back away. That something this time is the dude's got a purse. The man's carrying a purse around the Bears facility. Okay? I don't want to sound like some archaic caveman when I say this. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. My dad, his friends, they coached me growing up. There was always parents like I am now, coaching my daughter's softball team. But parents back in the day, dads to this day, what's the number one ribbing that a dad will give you if they want to needle you and get at you or something? After you hit the ball weakly into the infield, you fail to tackle the guy in youth football, they say, oh, you must be wearing your dress today. You need to take your dress off next time, Sally, when you hit that ball. Oh, let's get you a dress. Let's get you a bonnet,
Swing your purse.
baby. Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised you're not wearing your dress in here. This is ball. This is sports. This is men's sports. This is boys' sports. I hate to offend someone's delicate sensibilities, but calling someone a girl, saying they're wearing a dress, or saying they're having a purse or wearing it somewhere is an insult, and it's not masculine. The NFL locker room is one of the last great masculine refuges in all of sport, in all of American life. And now I'm just supposed to accept that the leader of a professional football team is toting a purse from meeting room to locker room because it's his must-have accessory? The cast of Friends would probably be described by most of our audience as woke. The writers of Friends would be described as liberal and woke. The writers of Friends had an entire plot line dedicated to Joey Tribbiani being made fun of by Ross Geller and everyone on the cast for what? For wearing a damn purse. And he loved the purse. He loved to accessorize. But it was an entire episode. That was 1999. This was not 1955 on Leave It to Beaver that this happened. This was Friends. Took place in progressive, upscale, Manhattan. 1999, they were making fun of dudes wearing purses. Ross, Chandler, crushed the guy when he had a purse that he walked into the coffee shop with. Central Perk. Great show, by the way. Went back and watched the clip. Still holds up, that entire show. I say all this to say wearing a purse doesn't make you a bad guy. Doesn't mean that you're not a great athlete. But it does make me believe that you can't lead. I got a hard time believing Caleb Williams is going to walk into an NFL locker room carrying a purse around, and that's not going to negatively affect the mentality of at least some of his teammates. When they look at the guy that is charged to lead them, that is making $25 million in a signing bonus, that had to, in Hard Knocks, had to give his signing bonus to the entire team. They crushed him for that. Then he decided to sing a John Legend song that apparently he couldn't sing and didn't know. And he got things thrown at him for that choice also. I'm down on Caleb Williams once again. Every time the guy pulls me back in for some reason, he pushes me away again. And the latest reason is he carries a purse. Am I missing something here? I'm not up with the trends of young people today. I bet if I went to most locker rooms across football, at any level,
they're not going to see the purse.
There's not a lot of dudes carrying a purse. He's picking up a purse talking to his head coach.
It's not even the shoulder bag. It's the two-handle leather purse.
Well, and this is him. I don't know why this is the one making the rounds, honestly. I've seen this photo all over social media. The very beginning of the show, he's carrying that purse in the facility, walking across the big Bears threshold in the start of their facility, walking in for the first time in slow-mo.
He had a piece he did for GQ magazine, and he had the top 10, his 10 most essential items that he couldn't live without. And there was a lot of product placement in there. And then at the very end, there was his dog, I believe, and then he had this purse. But it did not have the handles on it, but it is the exact bag that he says he takes everywhere with him. He cannot live without this purse. This isn't even like up for debate with like the shoulder strap.
Yeah, this is not like
the satchel. You can't even call this a satchel.
People can call this what I'm saying misogyny or whatever. It's truth. This is factual. This is what's been used to motivate young men and especially football players for decades. Don't play like a girl. Hell, in high school, I've told this story before, I got sent to practice with the girls' team because twice I was told to be strong with the ball and I got the ball jostled out of my hands. And my coach said, "You're playing like a girl again. Go practice with them."
You had to get in the layup line.
And I was told to go practice, and I ended up blocking Stacey Shell left and right. I took my anger out on her. I was Leah Thomas before Leah Thomas was a thing, apparently. I blocked her shot. I blocked it hard in that practice. But this was before people wanted to make, boys playing against girls, men playing against women socially acceptable. It was a criticism that you're playing soft, you're playing like a girl, and now I'm supposed to gush over the number one pick of the Chicago Bears because he's got the fashion sense, because GQ likes it, that he has a purse?
No, they let him choose the items that he wanted. He even mentioned the fingernails that he paints. And let me also say, before it's all, he's going to rival Cam Newton. Cam Newton, who would wear these giant hats, these Dr. Seuss hats, and would have foxtails and camo suits, and would wear bedazzled slippers. Yeah, Cam Newton would come to mind for me. Also, Odell Beckham Jr. comes to mind.
Yeah,
and
Cam Newton though is at least he's got 6'6", 260 on his side. Like he's
I
giant.
I don't care. The man
also,
he also qualifies for someone who would carry a purse.
He's also someone I'd qualify as not a good leader.
Yeah,
over the course of his NFL career, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, good
player.
He was
times,
MVP.
But yeah, not a great leader.
But we didn't see him hustle for that fumble in the Super Bowl. I think about that.
That's an image that will live on forever.
And this purse will as well. Here's the bag, Chad. This is the same bag, just with 2 handles on it that he's carrying.
It's a purse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to call it a bag.
Look at him. He's massaging. No, this looks like a bag. This looks like a bag.
We're going to say
when you add the handles to it, it is a purse.
It's a purse. We're going to call things.
It's definitely a purse in Hard Knocks.
We're going to call things what they are, and that is a purse. And what he had on Hard Knocks is a purse. I think it's a different color than that one. But, I mean, he is strolling into the Bears facility for the first time on camera. He's proudly carrying a purse. And I'm just seeing this, and I'm thinking, if I'm one of the dudes on that team, I'm thinking this is the guy that's going to lead us to the promised land. Hey, maybe it works out, but this is just another knock on Caleb Williams.
Here's the thing. He's going to fit in more than I think people would ever expect, because he's walking into an era of the NFL that is more Project Runway than it is game time, let's go.
That's fair.
And they get on and off the team plane wearing suits that they'll never wear again on a road trip, because they can't repeat the custom suits from their tailor that went out and killed the red fox out back the night before to have the fresh, the hat to go with the shoes and to go with the slacks and the nice fit for that weekend. It's more Project Runway on road trips. And Caleb Williams is going to be, he's going to be the head of the Met Gala for the Chicago Bears.
Well, and
He'll be dressed like Tom Brady at the Met Gala.
Joe Burrow's done this. He's done the runway at one of these fashion events. We've talked to Keith Bullock about this, who also annoys him with the photo shoot that took place quite often with the Titans here
Everywhere.
in town, getting off the
all
plane.
the social media, the players love it.
That stuff is kind of everywhere.
They expect it. They don't like the photo, they'll redo the walk.
I think that
they'll strut their stuff, Chad.
A lot of things have changed. Okay, the country has changed in so many ways. Culture continues to change. It changes every day. One thing to me that has not changed is the fact that dude's going to get made fun of for carrying a purse into a football locker room.
Oh, well, let me go ahead and say.
I think that's pretty standard across the board, regardless of where you are. The NFL locker room, if you want to call it misogyny, I don't care. Call it whatever you want, but that exists in NFL locker rooms still.
Well, let's also, we started the week discussing Jeffrey Simmons getting into fights. Jeffrey Simmons has already referenced the painted fingernails when he was on with Rich Eisen, because in week 1, Jeffrey Simmons will be lined up across from Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Now add the purse to the mix. And you get quite the storyline for Big Jeff. He's a grizzly bear. He's not carrying a purse on the plane. I mean, there are players that, are in locker rooms that would be pissed off by this.
It's a different standard because we're talking about the quarterback. It's just, you're right about Odell Beckham, and Cam Newton's a great example of someone who,
You get foxtails.
he looks like Jessica.
Ostrich feathers.
He looks like Jessica Tandy in Driving Miss Daisy half the time with his hats and everything he's wearing. I get all that. The quarterback there's a higher standard for excellence and leadership, and I'm deducting points from the Chicago Bears and the outlook for the season when I see their quarterback. Okay, thanks, coach, standing up with his head coach and picking up a damn purse and walking out of the room. It's hilarious to even think about.
I'm looking at Cam Newton right now with dragonflies on his hat.
Yeah. I mean, it's a parody. This is an SNL sketch that we're talking about here. It's nuts to me.
Yeah, cornstalk.
And I just don't think this is just kids these days. They're just going to wear whatever they want and have purses.
Here's Cam Newton dressed like he's the announcer for the Nathan's hot dog eating competition. It's just crazy. And you got, again, the hats are one thing. Wait until week 1. Wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a story that it was at the draft? There was a detail of what he was going to wear, and Armando came on the show and said it will not be heels. He will not be wearing heels. You remember this? Because he will, in fact, be wearing shoes, not heels.
What was the thought that he was going to wear heels?
Yeah, he was asked that question about what he was going to wear
Okay.
and what color his fingernails were going to be at the NFL draft.
Yeah, he looked pretty.
He'd be dressed like Prince.
Looked pretty standard at the NFL draft. They
Yeah,
showed him being drafted.
It was all good. I'm just saying,
they showed him being drafted.
Their first road
on
trip,
Hard
he'll
Knocks.
be dressed like Prince getting on that plane.
Yeah, Prince had awful back issues for wearing those platform heels for so long. That was part of his issue, was he was on a ton of painkillers because he had back and knee issues. I'm not even joking, because he had 8-inch platform heels he was dancing and moving around in on stage everywhere he went all the time.
There's this bag.
It's a big problem.
This looks like a picnic basket.
It's $2,159 for this purse.
Is this okay? How many handles can this purse?
It's a tote.
We've seen a bag. We've seen it have 2 handles. This looks like one.
It looks like something that a woman would take to the beach.
Yeah. Yes.
A beach bag, a tote. Let's show Joey Tribbiani one more time too, and see the similarities between the bag and then what Joey had, which is the purse. This looks more like a single band on Joey from Friends.
Yeah, at least this has the shoulder strap.
Not the 2, but he's wearing it around the shoulder, the satchel, very European.
Oh, man.
When I'm thinking about pro football players, one of the descriptions that I don't want to make about them is very European. That's just not what I'm looking for in a football player.